Beth with 50 Plus Beauty, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me today to share my top 6 beauty devices with you of 2025. But before we get into that, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel, give me a like, and leave me a comment if you have some great beauty devices you love. And my #1 beauty device is something I never quit during my whole year off YouTube. And some of you may remember that I took a year off YouTube because I had a very challenging year. I was caring for aging parents. I lost 2 beloved family members, Alan's mother, Darlene, and his only brother, Gene. It was just terrible. And I also had some medical issues, and it was redoing this whole house. It was a super stressful year. But the only beauty device I used during that time, because I let all of the beauty stuff go, it was really terrible. I didn't do anything beauty related, except that I always used the iRESTORE hair growth device. And here is the one I have been using for the last couple of years. This is the iRESTORE Elite, and I'm so happy that iRESTORE reached out to me and asked to sponsor this video because it was so perfect. Because of all my beauty devices, this is the only one that I continued to use during my year off. And actually, Alan and I both use this device. Every morning we go out and have our coffee. It's our little routine. We each use this device one after the other. You just use it 12 minutes and you're done. It's really easy. And I would say we probably use it 6 mornings a week. We don't make it 7 mornings probably, but I'd say 5 to 7 mornings a week we are doing this iRESTORE Elite device. And I absolutely love iRESTORE. I'm 67 years old and I still have pretty good hair, but about 5 years ago I was getting bald patches and it was absolutely terrible. Let me show you what stared back at me in the mirror 5 years ago. And here you can see I had a big chunk out of the middle, and then when I pulled back either side, I had what I called my televangelist temples. Basically, my hair was receding on both sides. It was absolutely horrifying. And so I started doing research because, I'm a beauty YouTuber, and I thought, I'm losing my hair. I'm starting to go bald. So I did some research, and I really respect Dr. Dre. She's a dermatologist on YouTube who is super well respected. She only backs products that are totally supported by the scientific research, and she had done a video about the iRESTORE hair growth device. And so I thought, well, if Dr. Dre likes it, I'm going to reach out to them. So I reached out to them and I sent them my balding pictures, and they said, yes, I would qualify for the device. And so I started using it 5 years ago. And iRESTORE says within 3 months, most people do see hair growth, and that's exactly what happened for me. Let me show you my pictures of the first 2 years of my use. There, as you can see, that's before in 2020. My front was pretty sparse, and in 3 months, I was starting to get little tiny hairs growing out, little tiny baby hairs all around there. And then at the 11-month point, the baby hairs were starting to become full-size hairs. And then at the 2-year point, all of that hair had grown in, and you can see basically the same on the left-hand side. There it was before, and you can see that my hair was really receding on the sides. And then at 3 months, I was getting little tiny baby hairs growing in. At 11 months, I was getting even more. And then at 2 years, I had a full head of hair. And basically, I haven't really done too many pictures since then, because I have never stopped using the device. It's not like if you just keep using it year after year, you're going to get more and more hair, but you're going to grow in the hair over the first 1 to 2 years. And then if you keep using the device, you will keep it. And some people say, well, why do I have to use it forever? Well, why do you have to brush your teeth day after day after day? You get the results from the device, and then the device keeps your scalp healthy, keeps the hair in a longer active growth phase, and that's why your hair really grows so well with this. And you may wonder, you may think, well, Beth, you had those great results, but that can't be typical. Well, this is right from the iRESTORE website. In the first 0 to 3 months, you have no change or increased shedding of your hairs, and I had a little bit of that at first. And then 3 to 6 months, the hairline starts to go in. Then 6 to 12 months, it gets thicker and you're having really visible results at the 6 to 12 month period. And then at 12 to 24 months, you have your most notable results with continued use. And as I mentioned before, Dr. Dre totally supports this device. In fact, I believe she's a spokesperson for the company now, because number one, it is totally backed by scientific research and studies. And there was a double-blind controlled research study, and here are the results. 100% of the study participants grew hair. At the 4-month point, 100% of users had regrown hair, with an average 43% increase in the hair count after just 4 months. So my good results were not unusual, and that's why, even though I had what I call my terrible, no good, rotten year, where I had so much stress, it was truly unbelievable. The iRESTORE was the only device that I never stopped using, and Alan kept using it too. And he's shy, so he's never allowed me to share his results, but look at his hair. Of course, it is gray, but I call him CEO-ly, and a large part of that is because his hair is so nice and thick and lush. And the neat thing about the iRESTORE device, and again, I am using the Elite, but I've used the Professional before, and it is really good too. The difference is on the Professional, you use it every other day for 25 minutes, and on the Elite, you use it once a day for 12 minutes, but neither of us have stopped using this device in the 5 years that I have had it available, and I really give credit to iRESTORE for Alan's gorgeous thick hair. And the neat thing about any of these devices is they make a truly wonderful holiday gift, because basically you can get it for your spouse or significant other, and then you can both use it, which is, I think, a wonderful 2-for-1. Now, I'm not the only person who loves the iRESTORE. On Google and Amazon, it has had more than 30,000 reviews, and of that, it got a 4.6 stars. And I own my own business in my outside life myself, and I'm here to tell you, you cannot erase Google reviews or Amazon reviews. Once you open your business up for reviews, you can dispute the review or you can reply to the review, but once someone gives you a review, you can't get rid of it at all. So these are totally honest reviews, and most people absolutely love this device. Now, you may wonder why the iRESTORE hair growth devices are rated number 1, and they truly are. The first is that they are the most powerful at-home red light hair growth devices on the market. They give you 2,500 milliwatts of power, which is much more than any other hair growth device out there. And also it has 500 diodes, 300 lasers, and 200 LEDs. They also have full coverage, which I really appreciate. I don't really like those caps because you really just don't want your hair to grow up here where the cap is. You really want the full coverage that the iRESTORE hair growth devices offer you. And you just need to use the Elite device 12 minutes a day with improvement as soon as 3 months. And the thing I really like best about the iRESTORE Elite and the other device that I've used, which is the Professional, is that there are no medications, no side effects, that kind of thing. It's just pure hair growth, which is something I have really appreciated. And again, I want to thank iRESTORE for partnering with me on this video, and we have a wonderful discount code with significant savings for you listed down below the video, so do check that out. Okay, the Elite is my number 1 beauty device, and it is of course for hair growth, but the other 5 devices are all skincare related. And you know, it is so funny. Again, I took actually more than a year off of YouTube. It's kind of a blur right now. We bought this house in May, and I'd stopped using my skincare devices maybe even a month or 2 before that because I was so excited about buying this house. And quite honestly, I was just so burnt out on the beauty thing and everything. I just kind of quit the devices. And then I didn't have a facelift for another year. And my face really aged terribly during that time. And you know, I had several people comment, they said, Beth, you used all the devices, and you know, it's so sad you still needed a facelift. And at first I thought that was the case too. I thought, well, it was all that stress from that year, which was truly terrible, and I'm sure that did contribute, and it was being 67 years old, but also it never even occurred to me until maybe about 3 weeks ago that one of the main problems with that whole year may have been that I gave up on all my beauty devices. So I went to AI and I asked him, I call him him, if that could have actually contributed to my rapid fire aging, because I really got older, it seemed like by the day, because really I had not used those beauty devices for the whole year up to that facelift, and my face really fell. And my AI guy said, yes, that really could have had something to do with it, because he said your beauty devices, and I mentioned some of my beauty devices, and he told me specifically what they did to rebuild collagen. And what he said is that when you were using your skincare devices religiously, you were pumping up the collagen, you were increasing the ATP energy of your skin, you were basically supporting your skin. And that when you bought this house basically and stopped doing everything skincare related, basically my skin had no more support. And so then over the next 5, 6, 7, 8 months, everything fell. And that was amazing to me. I did not realize that, but it totally makes sense. And now I know I will never quit using these devices, and I really don't want to have to go through that again. And really, up until I left YouTube, my face still looked pretty good. I believe that stopping my devices really had a lot to do with my aging so quickly during the year I was off. Okay, this is my #1 beauty device, and this is the NIRA. And this is specifically for wrinkles. Specifically, you know, the fine lines and wrinkles we get here, the marionette lines. It's for wrinkles and also skin firming. And I started with their precision device, which is the first one they had, which was little and tiny. And it basically pinpointed this area. And I always said to myself, I wish they had a larger one because this thing really works. And then lo and behold, they released this device, which the head is about 1 inch, and you just turn it on, and then you just go, you know, you just listen for the little beeps. It's got to warm up. There it goes. And you just do that. You don't need any gel or anything like that. But you do that, and over time, that little bit of heat energy is buffing up the collagen in your skin. And this device really does work. And I would say definitely it is my #1 skincare device, and I will never stop using it again. Now, my second skincare device is the NuFace. And I started out using this years ago, and I had a brief period to where I went to the Zip Halo because, you know, I was thinking maybe it was better for a while, but then I had a little side effect on the facelift, which I still have to a certain extent. And sometimes you can have an injury to a nerve down here in a facelift. It's a very rare side effect, and it's not horrible, but my lips became a little bit askew, and that nerve is still in the process of healing. And so it can take up to a year for everything to be back to normal. But I had a friend who was a PT when I had that little bit of a lip issue, and she gave me some PT exercises to do for my smile. And she also said to go ahead and use a microcurrent device. And I started out with a Zip Halo, and I really wasn't getting much improvement on my mouth. And then I went back to using the NuFace, and all of a sudden my smile really perked up and started to be very normal. And the wonderful thing about the NuFace is the microcurrent just tones your skin. And at first they say it's temporary, and the results are temporary. But when I ask AI, it basically said that over time it releases ATP in your skin, and it does have an overall firming effect over time. And I really swear by this. And it's really rewarding to use because every morning when you use it, your skin just looks tight and toned and more lifted. And that really helps with the jowls and that sort of thing. Now, another favorite device I have is the Facial Flex. And what this does, and it's very inexpensive, I think it's $15 or $20, but you just put it in your mouth, and then you kind of go like this. You don't have to say that with it. But basically what you're doing is you are using these muscles to tense and tighten, and you're giving them some resistance, so all these lower face muscles are tightening. They're getting tightened and toned, and I really think it goes a long way to helping with jowls. I've really got some good videos on my channel about the effects of this, and I really like this device, and it's very, very reasonable. Okay, my next favorite device is actually something that I didn't tell you about much before I left YouTube over a year ago. This is the Dr. Pin Microneedling device. And I'm really going to start using this again. I used it maybe once or twice before I left YouTube, and then I let it fall by the wayside, but I am going to start using it again. I did some derma rolling for a while, you know, and that's with a little roller thing, but I really wasn't happy with that because I think that when you roll your skin, the needles can go in maybe a little bit askew, and I was worried about that. But I really like the Dr. Pin because you can control the depth, and the most depth I ever do on my face is a 0.5, and I just do it once a month, and basically you just run it over your skin, and the needles go exactly up and down into your skin, and you have to make sure that you have a clean face and keep everything very sanitary, and I use a new cartridge every time. But I still feel like I have a little bit of jowling down here, And so I particularly want to use this, but this is scientifically proven to increase collagen because you're giving yourself a little bit of damage and your skin is sending growth factors and that kind of thing to rebuild your collagen, to smooth out your wrinkles, and even to reduce brown spots. I'm really excited to start using this again, and let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see a video about it. Okay, these are my most recent skincare devices, and again, they're very inexpensive. I think this was $15, $10, something like that. This is rose quartz, which I like crystals, and rose quartz is a beauty crystal for us and a love crystal for our hearts. So I really like that. And I started using this because I noticed that when I would get up in the morning, my face would look kind of swollen. And as I get older, it looks more and more swollen as I get up. I think when you're young, you can go out and drink and carouse all night long, and then you wake up after 3 hours of sleep and you look great. But that is not the way it is when you're in your 60s. But basically what this helps with is it helps with lymphatic drainage. And so you basically start this way to open up the channels, and then you have, a set of rolling exercises that you do. And then I use this like this to smooth the lymph down away from your face. And so it really does help with puffiness. And I think over time, this has a very positive effect on your face. And I've never done a video about this, but let me know in the comments section if you'd like to see a video, because I'm really feeling like these little guys are extremely helpful. Well, that was my 6 beauty devices of 2025, and iRESTORE is the top one. And thank you so much, iRESTORE, for partnering with me today, but also just for being there when I looked in the mirror and my hair was, when I was basically feeling like I was going bald. Let me know in the comments section if you have dealt with that horrible feeling before, and if you've used the iRESTORE or anything that has helped you. I would really appreciate knowing that. And stick around because more beauty videos are either there or there.